The American flag, stars and stripes waving against a clear blue sky, a symbol of unity, of ideals, of a nation striving to be born. The first 25 years of the United States were filled with defining moments that shaped its future. From the fiery crucible of revolution to the establishment of a government like no other, these years tested the very fabric of the newly formed nation. Here are the top 10 most impactful events that laid the foundation of the nation. 1776. A year etched in the annals of history. The year a dream of self-determination took its first bold steps. In Philadelphia, a group of men, visionaries, revolutionaries, gathered in the stifling summer heat to debate the fate of their fledgling nation. They were lawyers, farmers, merchants, united by a common cause, liberty. The Declaration of Independence, penned by Thomas Jefferson, was more than just a document. It was a beacon of hope, a clarion call for freedom that resonated far beyond the shores of the colonies. The words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness," became a rallying cry for oppressed peoples around the globe. The signing of the Declaration was an act of defiance, a bold assertion of sovereignty that ignited the flames of revolution. The American Revolution had been won, but the struggle for a lasting peace was just beginning. The fledgling nation, bound by the Articles of Confederation, was a loose collection of states, each wary of ceding power to a central authority. In 1787, delegates from the 13 states convened in Philadelphia once more, this time to address the weaknesses of their union. The Constitutional Convention, presided over by George Washington, was a crucible of debate, compromise, and ultimately, inspiration. The document they produced, the United States Constitution, was a masterpiece of political engineering. It established a system of government based on the separation of powers, with checks and balances designed to prevent tyranny. The opening words, "We the people," were a radical departure from the monarchies of Europe, proclaiming the sovereignty of the people as the foundation of American governance. 1789. The newly ratified Constitution called for a president, and all eyes turned to George Washington, the hero of the Revolution. Accepting the mantle of leadership, Washington became the first president of the United States, setting precedents that would shape the nation for centuries to come. His presidency was marked by a commitment to national unity and a cautious approach to foreign entanglements. He established a cabinet of advisors, formed the first national bank, and oversaw the suppression of the Whiskey Rebellion, asserting the federal government's authority. In his farewell address, Washington warned against the dangers of political factions and urged the nation to steer clear of permanent alliances with foreign powers. His words, imbued with wisdom and foresight, served as a guiding light for future generations of American leaders. The ink was barely dry on the Constitution when the debate over its ratification ignited a firestorm of controversy. Anti-federalists, wary of centralized power, demanded explicit guarantees of individual liberties. Their voices were heard. In 1791, the Bill of Rights, comprising the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, was ratified. These amendments enshrined fundamental freedoms that have become synonymous with the American experience. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to bear arms, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the right to due process and a fair trial. The Bill of Rights stands as a testament to the enduring belief in the sanctity of individual liberty, a cornerstone of American democracy. The year was 1794. The fledgling nation, still finding its footing, faced a crisis that would test the very principles upon which it was founded. In western Pennsylvania, farmers, angered by a federal tax on whiskey, rose up in open rebellion. The Whiskey Rebellion, as it came to be known, was a direct challenge to the authority of the newly formed federal government. President Washington, determined to uphold the rule of law, took the unprecedented step of leading a force of 13,000 militiamen to quell the uprising. The rebellion collapsed before the arrival of Washington's army, but the message was clear. The federal government had the will and the means to enforce its laws. The Whiskey Rebellion served as a stark reminder of the fragility of the young republic and the importance of a strong central government. The 1790s witnessed the birth of a phenomenon that would come to define American politics: the rise of political parties. At the heart of this political divide were two towering figures: Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson. Hamilton, a staunch Federalist, believed in a strong central government, a national bank, and a robust industrial economy. Jefferson, the leader of the Democratic Republicans, championed states' rights, agrarian values, and a limited federal government. The rivalry between these two men and their respective factions shaped the political landscape of the early republic. Newspapers became battlegrounds for partisan rhetoric, and political debates were often heated and divisive. The emergence of political parties, while fraught with tension, reflected the vibrancy of American democracy and the passionate engagement of its citizens in the political process. Chapter 7. The Quasi-War with France. As the 18th century drew to a close, the United States found itself on the brink of war with France, its former ally in the American Revolution. The Quasi-War, as it came to be known, was a peculiar conflict, an undeclared naval war fought primarily on the high seas. France, angered by the Jay Treaty between the United States and Great Britain, began seizing American merchant ships, viewing the treaty as a betrayal of their alliance. President John Adams, facing pressure from Federalists to declare war, opted for a more measured approach. He strengthened the U.S. Navy, authorized the capture of French warships, and suspended trade with France. The Quasi-War, though brief and largely bloodless, highlighted the challenges of navigating international relations in a world dominated by European powers. The Barbary Wars, a series of naval engagements fought in the early 19th century, pitted the young United States against the pirate states of North Africa. For centuries, these states had terrorized the Mediterranean Sea, demanding tribute from nations in exchange for safe passage for their ships. Refusing to pay tribute, President Thomas Jefferson dispatched the U.S. Navy to protect American shipping interests. The Barbary Wars, though seemingly distant, were a defining moment for the United States. They demonstrated the nation's resolve to defend its interests abroad, and marked the emergence of the U.S. Marine Corps as a formidable fighting force. The words "to the shores of Tripoli," immortalized in the Marines' hymn, serve as a reminder of their early exploits in defense of American freedom. In 1803, the United States embarked on one of the most significant land acquisitions in history, the Louisiana Purchase. For a mere $15 million, President Thomas Jefferson doubled the size of the nation, acquiring over 828,000 square miles of land from Napoleon Bonaparte's France. The Louisiana Purchase encompassed a vast territory stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, encompassing present-day states such as Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, and parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota. This monumental acquisition fueled westward expansion, opened up new lands for settlement, and secured control of the Mississippi River, a vital waterway for American commerce. The Louisiana Purchase stands as a testament to Jefferson's vision and a pivotal moment in the shaping of the American West. 1. The United States, still a young nation, once again found itself at war with Great Britain. The War of 1812 was sparked by a complex web of grievances, including British impressment of American sailors, trade restrictions, and British support for Native American resistance on the frontier. The war was a brutal test for the United States, with early defeats and setbacks. However, the tide began to turn with key American victories, such as the defense of Fort McHenry, which inspired Francis Scott Key to pen the words to the Star-Spangled Banner, and Andrew Jackson's decisive victory at the Battle of New Orleans, fought after the Treaty of Ghent had been signed, but before news of the peace reached America. The War of 1812, though ending in a stalemate, had a profound impact on the United States. It solidified American independence, fostered a sense of national unity, and ushered in an era of westward expansion and economic growth. The U.S. Capitol, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, stands as a symbol of American democracy, its dome reaching towards the heavens. The first 25 years of the United States were a tumultuous yet transformative period. From the ashes of revolution rose a nation founded on the principles of liberty, equality, and self-government. These events, etched in the annals of history, shaped the foundation of the United States, defining its democracy, identity, and place in history.